I have a lot of kids' DVDs to review here, and I do review them all at once because, generally speaking, I don't have enough to say about each kids' DVD that comes out to fill up a full review. But I think you'll find this gives you a good snapshot of which ones are worth purchasing for your kids and which ones aren't. So, first up, we have Scooby-Doo, Abracadabra Doo, the original movie. This is one of the all-new features from Warner Brothers that is a feature-length Scooby-Doo adventure, which, of course, most of the kids will be excited about. Now, I've had a problem with some of the last few Scooby-Doo movies in that I just don't think they've been that great. But the Scooby-Doo Abracadabra Doo, I think, is one of the better ones in recent years. And there's one reason for that. It's written by Alan Burnett and Paul Dini with Misty Lee. Now, I'm not familiar with Mr. Lee, but Alan Burnett and Paul Dini were two of the driving forces behind the Batman animated series, of which I'm a huge fan and, of course, is one of the best animated series of all time, in my opinion, and I think many other people's opinions. So that is kind of the deciding factor here that makes this one stand out a little bit more than some of the more recent Scooby-Doo movies. So kids will be excited to have this one. I think parents who like Scooby-Doo will probably enjoy it a little bit as well. It involves Scooby and the gang meeting up with Velma's sister, of all people, at a school for magic, and, of course, the wonky, wacky hijinks that go on from there. So it's pretty fun. Now, there's one special feature on this DVD, and that is Scooby-Doo and Puppets 2, which is kind of neat. It teaches you how to make your very own scary puppet. Kind of a fun little activity, and better than the usual downloadable coloring pages and stuff like that some of the kids' releases come with. So, if you're a fan of Scooby-Doo, or your kids are fans of Scooby-Doo, then Abracadabra Doo is recommended. Next up, we have two releases from Lionsgate, Thomas and the Runaway Kite, and Barney, Excellent Adventures. Barney. What can you say about Barney? He's a big purple dinosaur. He sings. Little kids love him. My 3-year-olds will watch Barney as long as I'll keep him on. So I can't argue. I'm always happy to have a new Barney DVD. Do I like watching Barney? Not particularly. But I'm not a 3-year-old kid, so it's okay. In terms of bonus features in this release, there are 2 games, set-top games. So that's a little bit of an extra feature there. But I can't let my kids have the remote, so I kind of have to help them with it. But it's kind of fun to play together. Next up, we have Thomas and the Runaway Kite, which I think is one of the better ones that Lionsgate puts out. The original Thomas stuff is not my favorite. I find them to be a little bit boring. But my 3-year-old son loves Thomas. I really like these new full CGI animated stories they're doing. I find them to be a lot more interesting than the train sets that really can't go very far. With these, we get moving characters, we get a lot more characters, the trains are a lot more expressive, and the stories are much more fleshed out instead of just being 5-minute segments. So I find them actually quite enjoyable in terms of kids' releases. In terms of bonus features, much like the Barney, you get 2 set-top games. So, again, nothing too exciting, but pretty standard fare in terms of what Lionsgate gives you for most of their kids' releases. Next up, we have, for the older kids, we have the Spectacular Spider-Man Volumes 6 and 7, the latest collections from Sony's Spectacular Spider-Man series. I'm not really a fan of the way that Sony's been releasing these so far in these little handful of episodes collected onto one disc. I prefer it when they put out the first season that collected the first 4 or 5 DVDs. These particular volumes are even more frustrating because Volume 6 only includes 3 episodes, which is, really kind of a letdown considering that the earlier discs all had at least 4 to 5 episodes. Now, Volume 7 also only includes 3 episodes. So really, between the 2 DVDs, you could have squeezed those 6 episodes onto one disc, I think, and really released it for the same amount of money. I think Sony maybe is trying to kind of milk us a little bit here. In terms of those 3 episodes, you do get some of the popular villains like the Sandman, Venom, and the Shocker, but really, I'm just not a really big fan of the fact that you can only get 3 episodes per disc when you used to only get 5 per disc. So it's a fun cartoon, but parents, I would wait for the inevitable season collection unless you have kids who just really can't get enough of Spider-Man and have to have it right now. Next up, we have the Strawberry Shortcake movie, The Berry Fest Princess. And this is kind of neat. I will say that my 3-year-old daughter did enjoy it, although it's a little bit long for her, running just over an hour, but she stuck with it for the most part. And it's a brand new Strawberry Shortcake adventure, and it's all computer generated. And much as I hate to knock hand-drawn animation, my kids do tend to prefer the CGI stuff over the hand-drawn stuff. So this was a big hit in that respect. Now, it doesn't look like the Strawberry Shortcake that you know. She's a little bit different. She's been redesigned. Her friends have been redesigned. But it's got enough of the kind of Strawberry Shortcake world that I don't think the parents will be too turned off by it. It's a pretty standard story. It's got Strawberry Shortcake and all her friends frolicking, and there's a Berry Fest princess involved. And I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to it too much in terms of story as much as how it looked and whether or not my daughter was enjoying it. But she did, so if you have little girls out there who are interested in Strawberry Shortcake, then this is probably a fun one to pick up for them. In terms of extra features, you get a sing-along, and you get some printable coloring pages for the little ones. Next up, we have Hot Wheels Battle Force 5. Season 1, Volume 1. Thank you, Warner Brothers, for giving us Season 1, Volume 1, and not just a couple of episodes. Now, granted, that includes the first half of Season 1 is only 6 episodes, but hey, that's at least something. At least we know that there's probably going to be a second volume. The season will be done. We'll move on to the next one. Now, this is a pretty cool little cartoon. It's obviously geared for older boys. It has lots of vehicles. It has robots. It has guys in cool costumes. Lots of action. And if your kids are of the age where they're going to enjoy that, then this is certainly a fun cartoon. I enjoyed watching it, although it's a little too old for my son. But if you have kids in that age range, it's definitely something that they're going to enjoy. Unfortunately, there are no extra features on it, but you do get 6 episodes, so it's at least worth it. It's over 2 hours worth of cartoons for your kids, and that's not bad at all. Next up, we have SpongeBob's Last Stand from Nickelodeon. And what's special about this DVD is it includes a DVD premiere episode. That is an episode that has never been seen anywhere else. On top of that, you get 7 more SpongeBob episodes. So if your kids like SpongeBob, this is a good deal. Me, not a big fan of SpongeBob, so I can't say that I'm really going to enjoy watching all of these, but hey, it's a good bonus for parents out there who buy these for their kids religiously, and I know you're out there. Getting to have an episode that you haven't seen before, as a parent, we all know how valuable that is. In terms of special features, you get a couple of them. You get SpongeBob SquarePants Sneak Peek, Bollywood Bob, How to Make SpongeBob SquarePants, and a karaoke music video. So at least Nickelodeon tries to give you a little something extra in terms of the bonus features. Also from Nickelodeon, we have Olivia Takes Ballet, and this is the newer Olivia, where it is in the CGI. I think there's an older version which is hand-drawn animation. I could be making that up because we don't watch Olivia regularly in my household. I find it personally a little on the dull side, and my kids haven't quite gotten into it yet, but Olivia Takes Ballet gives you 4 full episodes, each of which are usually broken into 2 stories, giving you over an hour and a half worth of episodes. And there's a featurette on there called Olivia's Fashion Show, so that's a nice little bonus. If your kids like pigs and they like computer-generated animation, then Olivia Takes Ballet is certainly a good release for them. Next, we have Sesame Street, Abby in Wonderland, an all-new Sesame Street adventure. Sesame Street is always great for kids. I don't know how you can possibly think anything other than that. So I'm a fan of Abby in Wonderland, and it's nice to see Elmo not be the focus for once. Of course, Elmo does appear, but only briefly before Abby kind of falls down the rabbit hole and enters a Alice in Wonderland-like adventure. Of course, the timing of that is quite good, since there's the Alice in Wonderland movie coming out, a lot of kind of revitalized interest in the Alice in Wonderland story. So this should be a good one for kids who parents want to expose to the Alice in Wonderland story, but who are way too young for Tim Burton's version, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm sure is too much for little kids. Unfortunately, the Abby in Wonderland DVD only runs 41 minutes, and there are no bonus features, so that's kind of a bummer. But it's a fun story. Kids will enjoy it, especially those who are familiar with the Alice in Wonderland story, and parents know that Sesame Street always offers up something educational for the young ones. Finally, we have the Madeline movie called Lost in Paris, and it is Madeline's first movie. The sticker on the front tells me, although I could swear there were like a dozen movies before this, but obviously I'm mistaken. What's nice about this one is it does include voices of Jason Alexander, Lauren Bacall, and Christopher Plummer. So there's some A-list stars mixed in, which will make it more palatable for the parents watching it. And the story kind of has a little Orphan Annie kind of feel to it with Madeline's supposed aunt and uncle coming to visit and taking her away and whisking her away, as the box says, on promises of a wonderful new life, which of course isn't exactly like it seems. So there's some inspiration from Annie, maybe, and a little bit of Coraline, although not so fantastical. But if you like Madeline, your kids like Madeline, then this is a perfectly enjoyable story. It runs about 75 minutes, and there are no extra features, but hey, you get over an hour's worth, and it's all one big, long story. So for those of you with kids who are able to sit through a movie of that length, then this is a pretty good release. So all in all, this is a pretty good collection of DVDs. There are no stinkers in the bunch. For my money, the best DVDs are the Scooby-Doo Abracadabra-Doo, Thomas and the Runaway Kite, and probably the Strawberry Shortcake, Berry Fest Princess movie, and Hot Wheels Battle Force 5.